So sexual abuse, alcoholism, and dysfunctional families are pretty critical in the role that they play with STDs and HIV transmission later on in life. So I like talking about my story, and I like talking about what happened to me because I think it helps most people understand that this isn't just an IV drug user's disease. This isn't just a gay disease. And those were some really strong belief systems that people used to think, like, oh, you either have to be a total slut, or you have to be gay, or you have to be messing around with heroin and needles and Lord knows what else in order to get HIV. And that's not the case. In my case, I had two boyfriends. Boyfriend number one occurred when I was 18, and I remember being tested when I was in my relationship with my first boyfriend. And I remember also being offended by being tested because I used to believe in those same belief system. I thought that it happened to other people. I thought that it was in other areas of the country. I thought that it would happen to people who would have 500 lovers or more. And so he was my first boyfriend, or my first willing partner, and I didn't believe it could happen to me. As a result of our first relationship, and despite all of our efforts to use birth control and condoms and spermicide and diaphragms and everything else, we got pregnant anyway. So at the age of 20, I became a mom. And this is my lovely, beautiful baby son here. Yay!
The first.
Boyfriend number two occurred after my first relationship broke up out of violence, broke up out of his unwillingness to get a job or want to take care of us. And he wanted to party, wasn't ready to be a dad, wanted to go do drugs and all that kind of jail and fun stuff. So I decided to go into college. I decided to get my college degree. So I jumped into school, found myself a new boyfriend, studied away. I was a mom. Everything was hunky-dory. Life is good. And in my second relationship, I distinctly remember asking the guy, okay, is there anything I need to know about you? Is there anything that you need to tell me about your sexual health? And I point blank asked him if we needed to use condoms. His answer was no, don't have anything. No reason for us to use condoms. We're good. We're okay. So we didn't use condoms. So we used birth control because I didn't want to get pregnant again. And my second relationship lasted all of 9 months. And at the close of that second relationship, which really broke up because he turned out to be a big old drunk on the weekends, was the day that he disclosed and told me that he had AIDS. It came out during an argument. It came out with him saying, guess what? I'm not going anywhere. You're not getting rid of me. I've got AIDS. Now so do you. And that's how I was told that I was infected with HIV. I didn't believe him. I didn't want to believe him. I wanted to be in denial. It took me a long time to go get tested. A friend of mine at school convinced me that I needed to get tested. I had to drag my butt down to my college campus to go and ask my nurse for an HIV test. I hated asking for it. I didn't want to, didn't think it applied to me. But I knew that what he had said in that breakup argument was possibly the truth, and I needed to go find out. Sure enough, I was infected. I was in complete shock when I found out that I was diagnosed with HIV. I went through all of the why me? Why not all these other girls on campus? Why not my brother or my sister or any of my cousins who've had lots and lots of more boyfriends and girlfriends? Why me? Did God hate me? Was this a curse? Did I do something wrong? I went through everything. I went through a lot of anger and rage, and I never saw that boyfriend ever again. Once we had broken up, he left campus. I never saw him ever again. So when you're diagnosed with HIV, you're sent to an AIDS clinic. At an AIDS clinic, a doctor's going to look at how many T cells you have. They're going to want to see how well you're doing with the virus. Turns out you don't get to pick and choose what kind of virus you get. You can get a really, really strong one that's really, really active, or you can get a really, really weak one that just kind of putters along and takes its time. I got a strong one. My very first T cell test said that I had 189. Anything that is less than 200 T cells is an automatic AIDS diagnosis. AIDS is the bottom of the barrel. AIDS is where things get bad. AIDS is where it all goes south and it's not pretty. AIDS is the part where it really feels like a disease. HIV positive is where, you're infected, but you still have a fair amount of health in you. But AIDS is where it gets real ugly, real fast. So I ended up getting the worst end of the stick, and the virus that I got from him had already diminished my immune system all the way down to AIDS.